What's up, everybody? Hello. Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a music writer.
I'm Jim Love. I'm a keynote and motivational speaker.
And today, when we don't have guests on our great show, Hustling Sideways, that you can
Great show.
check out. Yeah.
It's an awesome show. Yeah.
Can you tell we rushed into this one? When we don't have guests, we talk about things that side hustlers go through, everyday stuff, for better or for worse. And today is definitely one for the worse. Today we are talking about our least professional moments. Now, Jim, I know we were talking about, as it pertains to maybe our side hustles, but also probably
or
professional
like our normal
lives
jobs too.
or normal jobs.
Yeah. And we got both. We got
We
both.
have a lot of
And
them.
I will give Cliff Notes version in the interest of time because we have to keep these to a sustainable 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to give one from my past working life and then one from my speaking life. So years ago, I worked at a company called Catholic Financial Life that Alan used to work at as well.
I worked there as
Great
well.
Place. And I had access to all of our social media accounts. That was a part of my role. And if you don't know this, which I can't, most of you probably don't.
Don't.
I have a big noggin cut out of my own head that my friends made for me for my birthday years ago with a sweatband on. It's a whole basketball thing. But
Giant
anyway,
novelty gym
it's
head.
disgusting. And actually, unfortunately, I had to throw it out because it had mold on it. So that was a tough day. I know we're moving and that's what happened. But I thought it'd be funny. I had a night, like I went out on like a Friday night. I had a bunch of beer bottles left over like from that night. And I was like, it'd be funny to surround my head with the beer bottles to be like, Big Noggin had a wild night. And so I took a picture of it and I tweeted it because I was like, this is funny. And about 3 hours later, I realized I tweeted that from the Catholic Financial Life account.
No.
And thankfully, that account has very little followers. So there was like no repercussions, but I full on panic. I was looking at, I'm like, where did the tweet go? And I'm like, no. And I went to that one and I'm like, oh my gosh. So it's 5 beer bottles surrounding this big noggin of myself. So that was really bad. And thankfully nothing happened.
As a social media manager, that is my biggest fear.
Literally, I check now. I mean, I don't have a company posting anymore, but like that ruined
I have
me for a
both
long time.
my company one and my side hustle one. So that is
things
a
could go
nightmare.
poorly. So that was really bad. The side hustle vibe. So this is more recent, which is funny because this should have been a long time ago and whatever. But I write contracts all the time, like a 1-page contract to perform my service, if you will. And very simple paragraph, whatever. Recently, a school asked me to do an invoice versus a contract, which is something I never really have had to do. So it's just like essentially nuts and bolts of here's the payment, here's what you're doing. So I was like, well, I've never done that. So I Googled like invoice template, went to Microsoft Word, and then like figured I was like, here's something. But then I had to have an invoice number. So I just made one up. Yeah. And that was like officially what they put down as like their invoice number of an arbitrary. I just like, it felt really like I was doing something that I had no business doing in terms. So I just made up a number and then now I'm following from that number forward of what the
Jim
invoice is.
001.
Yeah, literally like 7 zeros and like a 1. And I was like, that's the first invoice. So I have no idea if that's the right way to do it. But I guess that's not super unprofessional, but I definitely had a moment of like, I'm just making this up. And here you go. Here's what it is. CFL one was way worse, but side hustle one, like definitely I finished that and I'm like, there were probably better ways to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I'll start.
I think I can one up you.
Oh, do it. Yeah.
So
you came up with the topic.
I
so
had
hope. Yeah.
I had a least professional moment that almost cost me what was going to be the biggest deal for breaking and entering at the time.
Oh, tell us more.
So we locked in a sponsorship with a major company and a major headphone company, speaker company.
Okay.
And
I'm actually not sure what you're referring to.
JBL speakers.
Oh, got it. Okay.
I feel like, I mean,
you if
you've followed the website, you've seen that we had some sponsored content from them, right? Setting up that deal, 2016-ish, let's say, I think, something like that. It was going to be the biggest check that Breaking and Entering had ever gotten for one piece, column at a time and for a monthly thing. And we were communicating via phone, get things figured out. Now, Jim, when you were a kid, you probably had like a funny outgoing voicemail, right?
I still do.
Yeah, you still do? You still have like where it calls and you're like, hey.
I had one of those.
You have one of those?
I can't hear you real well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I had one of those when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And then, of course, switched phones a couple times.
Yeah.
And I naively thought that, once I got a new phone, that it was it would change to
I
like
thought
the
that
default
does change. It
thing.
doesn't change?
Apparently it doesn't.
Oh,
Shout
no.
out to Verizon for carrying over all that stuff.
Thank you for keeping at it. Yes.
Yeah, I was a little jerk kid when I was, and left a terrible like outgoing voicemail when I was little. And so anyway, long story short, this lady's calling me about the deal.
Yeah.
We're getting everything set up. I don't answer my phone, goes to my voicemail.
Yeah.
I look at my voicemail, and my contact is talking and says, by the way, I think you should probably check your voicemail because I honestly didn't think this is the right person, and I thought about canceling the entire deal here.
Oh,
because
no.
it was because
that was what she left to you?
Yes,
oh
that was
gosh.
in the voicemail. So I panicked and I called back, and thankfully I was like, oh my God, it's an old voicemail. I can't believe that it was there.
Can you imagine how frustrated she was? I'm talking, I'm here. My gosh.
It wasn't, I don't know if it was something like that. It was something like, oh, well, if you can't reach me, something bad happened or something like that. Something stupid like that, right?
That's hilarious.
Yes, I had that. And, as a business,
it worked out. Yeah, but
she's expecting to call a business line.
Of course,
and,
as one would.
So,
yeah.
Check your outgoing voicemails.
That's outstanding.
Another one that is a very, at my professional job, a social media nightmare.
Yeah.
My old phone, back before you had to have a passcode or a lock screen on your phone.
Yeah.
It was just activated by touch. You could swipe it open, whatever. I didn't have a nightstand at my old house, at my old apartment. So my wife and I would lay down, and then I would just put the phone on the bed, and I would wake up in the morning, charge it overnight kind of thing.
Yeah.
I rolled over onto the phone in the middle of the night. Somebody had messaged my old company, my old employer. This is not why I'm not at that employer anymore.
Now let's be clear about that. This is
I didn't get
not
fired
reason for termination.
But somebody had messaged us in the middle of the night, asked about a contest that we were doing.
Yeah.
And so my Facebook account, the bank Facebook account was on my phone.
Yep.
So I rolled over, and you remember like the stickers that are like the ham that looks like a cat?
Yeah. I remember that.
All those weird ones. So I rolled over, and my body was touching that sticker. So when this person just innocently messaged a bank in the middle of the night, messaged their bank, they got a barrage of over 350. I stopped counting at one point. 350 of these stickers of ham cats back. Just a barrage. And it was every 2 or 3 seconds they would get another one, because you just move in your sleep, and
they know how responsive you are and how active you are on social media. If that's the case, you're just excited to talk to them.
And I rolled over. Every time I rolled over, it would change to a different one. So there was a New Year's one and a crying one.
What an actual nightmare.
For the better part of 2 hours, this person got a barrage of these ham cats.
Can they block you?
They did not. They should have, but they were. They replied, and they started saying please stop. Please stop. Oh my God, what is going on?
This is actually our next guest that we're having.
Yeah, right. And then at one point said, I'm calling corporate, which was where I worked. And I came in, and there was other people that manage our social media too, that are admins.
Yeah.
I walked into work that day, and one of the other admins looked over at me and just goes, what the hell happened? I freaked out in the moment. I messaged the person. I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My phone malfunctioned in the middle of the night. Yeah. I was the malfunction.
That was you. Yeah,
that was all me. I got a passcode on my phone after that.
Now never again will you have that open.
Never again. Well, it doesn't even sit near my.
That's now nowhere near. I think. Yeah. I mean, that's
nightmares.
Unreal.
Horror
that's actual
stories.
Nightmarish for a social media manager. And
lives in infamy though with all the people that work with me.
I hope it does. I guess the moral of the story is we all have experiences, whether it's our career or our side hustle, that are really unprofessional. And guess what? You recover and you move forward and you learn your lesson.
Arguably, every day is my least professional moment.
That's a good point.
But we want to know yours.
I'm living out my least professional moment in this moment. Yes. What was the moment that you can look back and laugh on now?
Yeah.
Maybe not the sob story, because that would be kind of awkward.
Yeah, no. Tell us the funny ones.
More of a funny one.
We want to know the funny ones.
We want to hear it. And if you enjoy that and this, you should subscribe to this podcast.
Yes, you can do that
Hustling
wherever
Sideways.
you get. Wherever you get your podcast, we are Hustling Sideways everywhere. Mm-hmm. You can rate us 5 stars as well. Follow us, do all that. You can also find us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We are on TikTok. Mm-hmm. We are all over the place. We have tons of content and great guests every other week. And if you want to be on the show and you want to tell us about your least professional moments,
send
us an email over at hustlingsideways@gmail.com. And that's my least professional outro now, Jim.
Hope you enjoyed it. Keep on hustling.
See you next time.